Welcome to my Zone Online School. My name is Teacher Precious and I'm with my friend here. Say hello. Okay. The theme for this week is public transport. But before we begin our lesson, let us sanitize our hands. Let's sanitize. Okay. Let's rub our hands. And we spread out our hands so that we don't touch the next person next to us. Okay? And remember to social distance. And when you are going out, always wear your mask. Our lesson for today in English is going to be verbs. We are also going to talk about the O sound. We are going to learn about creative writing and sight words. Let's now turn to page 16, where we are going to talk about verbs. What is a verb? A verb is a doing word. It's a doing word, or we can call it an action word. We have different examples. You can clap. It's showing an action. So clapping is a verb. You can run. You can sing. All those we call them verbs. And we have verbs given to you in that box. We have gives, know, starts, and all the other verbs listed there. Now, this is what we are going to do. I want you to choose a verb to complete the given sentences below. I'll start by doing number 1 and 2 with you. The first question is, Baruch has dash many pets. So, you are going to choose a word to complete that sentence. I'll do it for you. Baruch has many pets. Then the next sentence, Edwina dash running at 6 a.m. What do we say? We say Edwina starts running at 6 a.m. That's for all about our lesson for verbs. I want you to complete the remaining questions using the words in the box. Thank you so much, grade 2s. Let's now turn to page 17, where we are going to talk about sounds. And today we are going to talk about the O sound. And we are given different words with the O sound. We have blow. We have how. And all the other words given in that box. So this is what we are going to do. We will read them first. Blow, how, show, down, and all the other words. Now you read the sentence and fill in the given words. Let's do the first one and the second one. Did you hear the coach dash the whistle? What is the answer for the first question? The answer is blow. The coach blows the whistle. So we say, did you hear the coach blow the whistle? Okay? The circus stopped at the small dash. The circus stopped at the small dash. Okay? The answer here is town. They stopped at the small town. So I want you to do the remaining questions, choosing the given words with the sound O, and complete all the sentences. Now let's turn to page 18, grade 3s, where we are going to fill in the sound O to make sound words. Okay? We'll make words by filling in the sound O. We are given 2 examples. B. So the sound O was added to make it bow. Then we have a C, where the sound O was added to make the word cow. Let me do the N and the V. If we take the N and we add our sound O, we will come up with the word now. Okay? Then we take a V and we add our sound O to make it a vowel. So I want you to do the remaining ones by just adding the sound O and come up with a lot of different words. That's all about the sound O. Please complete the given exercise in our booklet. Let's now move on to page 19, where we are going to learn about creative writing. Creative writing can also be called composition. Composition. I know it's new to you, grade 3s, but it's very interesting. So we are given some guidelines to write a story. In a composition, we are going to write an interesting story. Use the guidelines provided below and write your own story of 5 to 7 sentences about traveling on safari. What do you do when you are writing a composition? Here in our booklet, it's written, a good story has an introduction. You tell us what you are going to write about in your introduction. Then in the middle of the composition, this is where you are going to write all the other things that you can think of about your topic given. And then we have an ending. You now end your story to tell us that this is the end of my story. Okay. It is written also in our booklet that before you start writing in your book or on a piece of paper, you must plan your work. You don't just write, okay? A plan is given. Here are some guidelines to help you plan. We are given a guideline. Where are you going? You don't just say safari, or you don't just say Etosha. You tell us, I am going on a safari to Etosha or to Okapuka Range. Okay? Then you add some of the sentences that you might think of, or you can tell us why you are going there. Maybe you say, I'm going to see the animals. Then how are you getting there? You tell us how you will arrive. And a composition is a continuous story. You write a sentence, you end here. You must not come and write number 2. You also don't number a composition. When you write your sentence, you end here, you put a full stop, you space, you continue. They can continue, some can come up to here. So it's a continuous story. Who is going with you? You can tell us about your classmates. You can tell us about your grandparents and your parents. What are some of the things you are packing to take with you? You tell us, because it will be hot, I'm going to carry my sunglasses, hats, and cooler bags. So this will work as your plan to guide you write an interesting composition. That's all about composition grade 3s. Thank you. Let's now turn to page 20, where we are going to talk about sight words. What are sight words? These are commonly used words. Commonly used words. And you use them without sounding out the letters. You use them every day. You don't need to sound the letters. We have examples like I. We also have is. We have so. Then we have the. As examples of sight words. But we have a lot of them. We are given some sight words in the box, and you are going to fill in to complete the given sentences. Let me do the first 2 with you as well. We will dash the football game. What will happen? We will win. Okay? We are given a sight word, win. So, we will win the football game. I was dash when he left. I was sad. You can be sad, you can be happy. I was sad when he left. That's all about sight words, grade 3s. Now you go to our booklet and complete the remaining sentences using all the sight words in the box. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for today's lesson. Now it's our time to sanitize our hands again. Let's sanitize. And spread out our hands so that we don't touch the person next to us. Then we spread them in front as well. And remember to social distance. And when you are going out, always wear a mask. Before we say goodbye, let's call our friend Zoshi to say bye.
What is social distancing? Hi everyone, I am Zoshi and I'm back. It literally just means that you need to stay home all the time and keep away from crowded places. And remember to keep your distance from your friends too. Everybody stay safe. Yay! Till next time. Bye!
Win free airtime with hashtag #LearnOn1. Share your comments on the lessons. SMS your feedback, name and town to 555. Hashtag #LearnOn1. Invite learning in.
The coronavirus that causes COVID-19 has changed since the pandemic started. So does this mean the virus has become more dangerous? Scientists have discovered thousands of mutations to the SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus. Most mutations only lead to small changes, but scientists believe one, called D614G, may have made it easier for the virus to infect human cells. This mutation most likely emerged after the initial outbreak in China, and it spread fast after the virus arrived in Europe. By the end of June, the D614G mutation was found in almost all samples of the virus worldwide. Scientists believe this is due to amino acid changes in the virus's spike proteins, improving its ability to infect human cells. Some studies have found more spikes on viruses with this mutation. These spikes latch onto receptors on the surface of our cells. They then transfer the virus's genetic material, called RNA, inside. Being inside the host cell allows the virus to make many copies of itself. Random errors sometimes happen in the copying process, which cause mutations. Although the full effects of D614G are still unclear, some studies suggest that the mutated virus might be more transmissible than the original. This could mean more people getting sick and at a faster rate. Despite this, there isn't any evidence that the disease itself has become more severe. Scientists are worried about mutations possibly increasing the risk of reinfection. Hong Kong reported what could be the first case of virus reinfection on the 24th of August. A healthy man in his 30s is thought to have caught the virus again 4.5 months after he first got sick. During this time, mutations developed and new variants of the virus emerged. Some experts believe these changes may have made reinfections more likely. Mutations are common over the course of a pandemic. New flu vaccines are needed every winter to keep up with genetic changes to the flu virus. If a coronavirus vaccine is found, it could require regular booster jabs. Mutations won't happen overnight, and the coronavirus is mutating slower than the flu virus. But it's important for scientists to keep a close eye on how the virus changes over time. Could we be hearing more about other mutations in the future?
This fishing community on Mozambique's northern coast has been hit hard. People here are suffering from high rates of malnutrition, but that's not all. The greatest concern is the high rates of HIV infection and AIDS, the main cause of death in adults and young people across Mozambique. Poor nutrition makes it even more difficult for people to fight the disease. 21-year-old Elima Artur is the daughter of one of these fishermen. A few years ago, she suddenly started suffering from an unknown illness.
Me encontrei desesperada, totalmente triste. Minha vida só era chorar. Pensei que eu já estava a ir já.
All this changed the day Elima met Arlette Anna Abel from a project called Chapani. With support from IFAD, the International Fund for Agricultural Development, and the Belgian Fund for Food Security, staff from Chapani work with villagers to combat the dual threats of HIV and malnutrition. When Elima tested positive for HIV and AIDS, Arlette encouraged her to form a support group. Elima chose her father and aunt, who helped her to stay optimistic and healthy. In fact, teaching people to eat well is an important part of Arlette's work.
Eu ensinei elas para que pudesse enriquecer os alimentos para ela poder as hemoglobinas não baixarem. Então, já se alimenta agora de verduras, não só do peixe.
As part of the Chapani project, cooking demonstrations are held for everyone in the community. The session today features the highly nutritious moringa plant, a fast-growing, drought-resistant tree unknown to many locally. Now it has become a popular item in the local cuisine. Maria Machambi, who is not HIV positive, is learning to create her own garden with more than 6,000 other families in the area. The idea is spreading quickly throughout the community, with locally trained volunteers now leading the process.
They share their ideas with their neighbors and everyone gets excited. For us, that is key. Once communities own the process and they don't need an external person to tell them how to cook food, how to prepare it, they do it within themselves.
The success of the project has motivated IFAD to expand nutrition education across the nation over the next 3 years. Meanwhile, Elima is playing a key role in spreading the word about healthy living. Through songs, she informs people about safeguarding against HIV and AIDS, adopting healthy eating habits, and learning to cope with the disease.
Vê lá, me repara só. Sabe, uma pessoa pode me ver, não saber que eu tenho esse tipo de problema. Hã? Estou bem, hein? Ouviste?
And with more than 10% of Mozambique's adult population infected with HIV, this message has never been more pertinent. This report was produced by Jonathan Elliott for the United Nations.
To show the world we live in that God loves, and the only way to show God's love is to love people around us.
If God has called you, I see him calling women for prophetess. They prophesy, and people give them money, they give them gift. They also buy them houses. Why is yours different if you don't have mental problem? I was so humiliated. I suffered so much. Even my son, my first son, raising his hand to slap me, I mean, is a hell to any mother.
Jesus says in John 15 verse 5, that apart from him, we can do nothing. We need to lean on him for help with everything in our lives. Let these words drive your every move.
During one of those moments, Benga said God gave him a scripture from the Bible that challenged him.
And this was it. Jesus said, "For their sakes I sanctify myself, that they also may be sanctified." And I understood that he was talking about my family and my children that were very tender. That the pornography I watch, even if I do it secretly, could actually influence them negatively.
the mighty Zambezi River, the longest east-flowing river in Africa, a river that flows through 6 countries, home to a plethora of wild species of fauna and flora, a lifeline for many people whose livelihoods are dependent on the abundance the river brings. Globally, communities who live along rivers rely on these rivers to survive. Communities living along the Zambezi call it the river of life, bringing water for their crops and fish as their main protein source. In Namibia, a country situated in sub-Saharan Africa, the Zambezi River sits at the heart of Kaza, the Kavango-Zambezi Trans-Frontier Conservation Area, which is one of the greatest conservation areas on Earth, a stronghold for very many of our most iconic wildlife.
I'm right now where the river forms the border between Namibia and Zambia. This enormous water body provides sustenance to a wide array of wildlife, bird and fish species. It's also a lifeline for human beings.
The same communities are the people also who are doing the illegal activities.
The price of fishing has gone up because fish has become scarce.
The more they finish us, the more our life gets harder and harder.
These days, it is very rare to get a big bream unless in those protected areas.
A small group of community members, together with non-governmental organizations like Namibian Nature Foundation, are fighting back.
We have to start thinking out of the box, to be honest, because what's going to happen is going to be out of this box that we haven't seen before.
By creating protected areas, monitoring and patrolling, fish stocks have a chance at recovery. These are the stories of the people fighting for the continued existence of their communities. These are the last defenders.
Struggling with no food, no what. But we didn't stop. If I don't do it, our young children, they'll never know the fish.
Here for say tutoring.
Maar is tijd dat ik vrede maak met Patricia.
Wat? Tos is land uit. Ek gaan nie eens probeer my verskoning uit te dink nie.
Madam Fala, go to my niggy, show down in Oppie Coffee tomorrow.
Shop right. Shop right. Shop smart. Shop right.
Prevention is important. Help prevent the spread of illness and keep yourself and others well. Hand washing is one of the most effective ways of preventing the spread of germs. Wash your hands regularly with soap and hot water, scrubbing your hands thoroughly for at least 20 seconds. Hand sanitizers can be used but are not recommended as a substitute for hand washing. Use sanitizers in addition to hand washing or in a situation where soap and water are not available. To avoid spreading germs, limit sharing of personal items such as utensils, cups, and dishes. Your skin acts as a barrier to germs, but your eyes, nose, and mouth are more vulnerable. Wash your hands thoroughly before touching your face, eating, or drinking. Avoid physical contact with others, including handshakes, fist bumps, high fives, hugs, and kisses. Social distancing is deliberately increasing the physical space between people to avoid